Real quick, I call it l'affaire Salanitri. This, in fact, and I'll be addressing this at Bulldog Pundit. This was the little dust up that ultimately landed me where I am now on my own blog. As a result of my comments on it, I resigned from Right Direction because I got Dave Larson in a bit of hot water. And in all fairness, he had no idea that I put up this post. He wasn't a party to it. In effect, I criticized the nullification issue. I came to the limited support of RoseAnn Salanitri, who I knew nothing about. And the controversy of her running against Alison McHose in, the 24th district, knew nothing about it until someone sent me a link to Rob Eichmann's hit piece. It was a hit piece. Now, whether or not you agree with RoseAnn Salanitri, it was immaterial to me. He was attacking her because she opposed Alison Little McHose's proposed amendment or proposed legislation, Assembly 4155, that would invoke nullification to render Obamacare null and void. And Salanitri apparently also doesn't like what's going on with the attacks on Reggie and so forth. My concern was nullification, and I explained quite simply, I agreed with Salanitri. I mean, a stopped clock is still right twice a day. On this issue, she happens to be right. Now, apparently, and I'll quote again from CNJ, more recently, the, quote, leader, now you're a leader.
Oh.
Yes, apparently you've been promoted.
Promoted.
More recently, the leader of the Bayshore Tea Party actually spoke words of encouragement for an unqualified candidate trying to unseat a conservative legislator in the 24th district. The unqualified candidate stated that she, quote, opposes Obamacare, but also the legislation to block its implementation in New Jersey. The leader of the Bayshore Tea Party, Barbara Gonzalez, had this to say about the unqualified candidate. He's quoting you now, quote, keep an open mind even if not convinced that Salanitri is right in her statements. Criticism of Salanitri gets my knickers in a knot. I'm not even going to go there. And I'm quoting again, so her knickers are in a knot when anyone criticizes an unqualified candidate running against a legislator that has introduced legislation to repeal. Notice how they're conflating it now.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? So you really oppose the opposition of Reggie.
Right.
Secretly
how
you
it
support
went there,
Reggie.
I don't know.
I don't know
Comment
either.
I made,
It's amazing. So what did you mean when you say that criticism of Salanitri gets your knickers in a knot?
What I meant was, when I see people taking a stand without knowing the facts, that
You mean doing simple things like, I don't know, picking up the phone, sending an
Exactly.
email?
Exactly.
You mean something CNJ never did with
Exactly.
Bayshore?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Just wanted
And
to
it
be
was a
clear
very
on
simple
that.
statement that they kind of really embellished on there with all the thoughts that went behind it, which did not. I did not know all the facts. And, and what happened was, initially, I saw the nullification thing as well, that sounds great. Then I read about why it might not be great. So it's like, well, then you stop. You stop it, or at least personally I would never say, no, she's a Republican, or this one's a conservative, or this one said that. You have to take all the facts and have the facts in front of you, and then you can make a decision or make a comment. That's all I said. It didn't really go any further than that.
Well, then I could go on. Quote, for some reason, Gonzalez is supportive of Salanitri's positions on Obamacare and Reggie. The reason must be a political one, because it runs contrary to the principles of the Tea Party movement and the issues they care about. So you apparently support Salanitri's position on Obamacare. You support her. Now, for the record,
I support people having facts.
Okay.
That's all. Having facts before you comment, and what's going to happen is you're going to cause fighting within the Tea Party movement and the Republicans, and you're going to you don't want to have a split between the Tea Parties, nor do you want to have conflict with the Republicans until you're sure that they are a conservative Republican, or what they're doing is for the right reason, or as you brought up, there's a reason that it might not be such a great thing. I mean, someone brought it up that it's electioneering. Maybe it is electioneering. So until, at least myself, until I know, I'm not going to take a side with, I didn't take anybody's side in that comment. That if you read that was my comment. I didn't take anybody's side.
So for the record, then, you oppose Obamacare.
Of course I do.
And you oppose Reggie.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if anybody doesn't know that, it's